We're live from Austin, Texas. It's the Plutopia News Network Happy Hour. Our guest this time, Honoria Starbuck, artist, art educator, and Zen Chicken wrangler. The not ready for cable news players are missing our star players, Maggie Duvall and Susie Sheeler. They'll be back. But the old guys, Scoop Sweeney and John Bubkowski, will take up the slack. Now from the garden spot of Central Texas, South Austin, it's the Big Lebkowski.
Hello, hello, hello.
And welcome, Honoria.
Hey, thank you.
Hey, you know what's happening?
What's happening?
I'm hearing Scoop's introduction again. I had to shut that one down. Yeah, Honoria Starbuck is here. Honoria is an artist, an exceptional artist, who's been working for years on her art and who also has a PhD, which probably, is that relevant to your art?
It's very relevant to my art, yes.
There you are.
It gives me the job I need in order to pay for my art.
Which is that you are a professor of practice.
Yes.
In the School of Design and Creative Technologies in the College of Fine Arts at the University of Texas.
That's right.
And we are here to experience your Zen chickens.
It's really good to have a doctor in the house. If it wasn't for that pesky testing, I'd have a doctorate and probably 20/20 vision, but it didn't work out.
Well, it's not the testing, it's the dissertation writing that gets you. So, am I supposed to talk now?
You are. You're absolutely on.
And so all I see right now is your head. And so what I would like to do today is to give you a studio tour of my studio in Austin and show you some Zen chickens. I'm surrounded right now by dozens and dozens of Zen chickens. And
okay, I'm going to change to speaker view so that you will be most prominent on the screen.
All right.
So there you are.
People need to switch cameras.
I don't know how to do this, but so somewhere up here, there is a view right here. I don't know. Anyhow, am I on the screen now?
You are on the screen. You
Hi,
are prominent on the screen.
Good.
We see everyone, Zen chickens and all.
Yeah.
Good.
And
So
arms.
this is my thing. That's Knut's hand. He's my cameraman. So he's so this is my name, and I make Zen chickens. I make them inspired by my years of training in Tai Chi. And I really would like to share them with you. This is my studio where I make them. And I make them every day. I've made them every day for years. And I want you to feel what it's like to be surrounded by Zen chickens and to be inspired by, if you are inspired by them, to make your own, because their spontaneous creativity is what Zen chickens are. And I believe in spontaneity as an art form. And so I'd like to show you just the walls of my studio. So right now, this is a bunch of small Zen chickens. These are all, well, except for that one, they're all 5 by 7 inches. And so I do several sizes of Zen chickens. So these go out sometimes as mail art, as postcards. Over here, we have the larger size Zen chickens. Some of them are in color and some of them are done with traditional sumi ink. Some of them now are done with something that's a brand new art supply. And this one is one of those. This is super, super black. And it's done with something called Black 3.0. Now the Zen chickens, they get fairly abstract. And you'll see some that you recognize as chickens and some that you won't recognize as chickens. And it doesn't make any difference, because what I'm saying is the point of doing Zen chickens is spontaneous creativity. Therefore, one day I was really pissed off. I mean, I was really mad, and this Zen Chicken came out. This Zen Chicken is made of graphite, and then I rubbed like coffee on it, and then on top of that is your vermilion paint. And the vermilion is traditional stamp that the Japanese and Chinese use. So this is a very abstract chicken that is, the focus of this one is diffusion. So the water diffuses the ink, and it makes a spectacular but totally unplanned pattern that is just water and ink working their magic. And let's see. So some of the chickens are done with stencils. Some of them are done with rubber stamps. And while we're here on this part of the room, these are my rubber stamp collections in here. So I have lots and lots of rubber stamps. There's palm tree right here. Let's use that later. We'll make a Zen Chicken later on. And now I'd like to show you some Zen Chickens that I'm very proud of. So this is the art show part. I'm just going to flip through these. This chicken was made yesterday. And while I was talking to my friend on the phone, I made, this is just my sketchbook. These are my notes. So I make spontaneous creativity all the time. And I want you to too, because it's fun. It's a good thing to do during a pandemic. So I'm going to flip through these Zen Chickens, and they're all on this side. This Zen Chicken is about hurricanes in Miami. There's a hurricane in Miami. These are blocky Zen Chickens. These are Zen Chickens where there's a cloud between you and the Zen Chicken, and the cloud is full of prismatic colors. Like real clouds are full of prismatic colors. So I went off on that kind of tangent for a while, and now we're at the end of it, and Zen Chickens. This is Zen Chicken underwater, Zen Chicken with stencils. These are stickers, an indigo Zen Chicken, and a crazy Zen Chicken. Now I'll show you a few more. These are all done in sketchbooks, so I can just open the page and make one, and I do that really fast. When I'm feeling more professional, I use this board. This is Canson board, and it's really heavy, and it's beautiful watercolor paper. So this acts differently, and you'll notice it's even a different color. This is a cream ivory color, and this is a pure white color. So this is a very abstract chicken. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I see you're getting a shadow. So I'm going to hold it up. So this is a donut chicken. Watch the donut, not the whole chicken. So this is simple shapes, simple shapes, simple shapes. And that was an experiment with simple shapes. This one is a sort of confused Zen Chicken. It has this vermilion. Remember, vermilion only has one L. Has a rubber stamp on it, and it has a funny little baby Zen Chicken down here that's got my signature H on it. This Zen Chicken has a very important message.
Oh.
There you go. You got it. Now this Zen Chicken, I carved this head. Let's see if I can, I think it's right here. Yeah. So I carved this head out of rubber, and I printed it on this Zen Chicken, and then I made the chicken. So this is a rubber stamp, these are rubber stamps, and this is a hand-carved rubber stamp. And I made a few with this one, but the head was too big for my little ones. This one is, the pen is mightier than the sword Zen Chicken. And these are a bunch of pen nibs at the top.
Oh.
This one is an upside down exclamation point Zen Chicken. You get the point. It's called And Stand Tall in Spite of It All. That's the title of this one. This is I Wish I Could Get Out of This House, Zen Chicken. If wishes were chickens, I don't know what the rest of that statement is.
Then beggars would lay eggs.
Yeah, beggars would lay eggs. This one is done with this black 3.0. So this is the black 3.0. My dear husband, who's holding the camera now, gave this to me as a gift, and it's the miracle drug for Zen chicken making. It is blacker than India ink, and it still has this capacity to make this wonderful kind of texture when it's diluted. This Zen chicken is called the virus Zen chicken. And I have to explain that to you. I told you I had hundreds, probably thousands of Zen chickens, so I'm just showing you a few. This was called CZ, Viral Chicken Dance. Some of them have names on the back. This one's called Oblivious Zen Chicken. I'm almost down to the bottom here. This one is a spiral. It's called the Curvilinear Zen Chicken. Ooh, I love it. I can watch paint dry. So as the paint dries, it forms these beautiful patterns in here. And really, that's part of Tai Chi, is slowing down and appreciating what nature can do. And ink and water are nature. So this is called diluted Zen Chicken. And here you have the black ink again, very strong. And this one's called Zen Chicken Reads Poetry by my friend Joe Smith. So this is a size, this is 12 by 16, I think, 12 by 16 inches. So I made lots and lots of these, and they go into boxes. So I'll show you a box. This is a box of Zen chickens. These are ready to scan, and when I scan them, they go onto my my gallery, which is on Saatchi Art. So these are ready to scan, and there they are. Dozens of Zen chickens in complete. Now we'll go to another size. So this is 20 by 32 size. And you can see they're very large. And these are on super expensive paper. Hear that? Can you hear it? This is Arsh 300-pound paper. And each piece of paper costs $15. And so you don't want to mess it up. And so, but I did mess it up. So once you mess it up, then you can keep going and go deeper and deeper and deeper and make layers and layers. And layers, of course, is a joke. So you have chickens with layers. This one has an interesting, like a realistic eye and then just a blob for another eye. And I'll show you this brush because it's an interesting brush. I can find it. Where is that brush? Oh, here it is. All right, so you see this texture up here? It's made with a rake brush. So that is brush that makes that rake, and it's really fun to use. So it will go, and it'll make these parallel lines all by itself. You don't have to make one line at a time. It just makes them. It's really good for painting hair. Now, this Zen chicken is a passion flower. It's a passionate Zen chicken. So this is a passion flower that's turned into a Zen chicken, and this is a Picasso eye. So it's a passionate Picasso-eyed Zen chicken. This is another one done with the black 3.0. We can see the richness of the black, and then when it's dilute, it creates these amazing patterns. These circles up here is actually how I started doing Zen Chicken. So I was doing the big Zen circles, and I'll show you one in a minute when I do the demo. And they're called Enzo. And when you do one, your brush runs out of ink. And when it runs out of ink, or in this case, paint, it has something that it leaves. It just swooshes off. The paint just disappears, and that's called the flying white. So it actually has a name in calligraphy. I'll end with this one. This one is one of the layers where I was unhappy. It's upside down, sorry. I was unhappy with it, so now you can clearly see the chicken, right? There's the feet. And really, there's no chicken in here. This is an abstract piece, but I've been doing more and more abstractions with chicken feet. That's where I am now. Any questions?
Well, we're unmuted now.
Yeah.
Oh,
We muted for a minute there so that we could save some bandwidth for the chicken.
I'm interested in the Black 3.0. Tell me more about that. That you had discussed it in our previous interview, but it's a pretty amazing substance.
So the thing about this Black 3.0 is that it's very opaque and it's matte. It's totally matte. It absorbs all the light. And I don't know who made it. You can get it at Culture Hustle. And it says right here, share with the world. So world, Black 3.0. It's so much fun. It's the more fun you've ever had with a bottle of black ink. It really is exciting.
So is the black...
Oh, that's all I know about it. Oh, Stuart Semple. That's the name of the artist who made it.
So is the black that we were used to in the old world, was that Black 1.0?
I don't know. I don't know what Black 1.0 was, but it was probably Vanta Black. So there was black, which is carbon, or, you know, burnt wood from what, like prehistory on the walls of the caves.
In my world, the audio art world, we have what's called digital black. And
oh yeah, what's that?
That's a recording that has absolutely no noise. And you use it to compare to what you're producing, and you go, oh, that's really noisy compared to digital black.
Well, this is very black. I don't know what it sounds like. I'm going to listen to it. I think it's digital black too. I think it's both.
I'll have to try that on one of my microphones. So one of the waterproof or ink-proof ones.
All right, are you guys ready to see a Zen Chicken come alive?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so we're just going to move around to my work surface here.
Maybe we should sing Paint It Black while you're doing
that. There you go.
I will refrain from that. There's a restraining order that orders that.
All right.
Oh, let's see. Shanta Stevens just posted is this a comment or a question? A wabi-sabi note. Seems like it may be appreciated here. In jamming with musicians, I learned that if I got the wrong note once, that's called a mistake. If I hit the wrong note twice, that's intentional. But if I hit the wrong note 3 times, that's jazz.
That's what Zen Chickens are. You're right. Who said that?
Shanta.
Well, Shanta, that's exactly what Zen Chickens are, although I never tried to make them right. I always wanted them to be just pure jazz, but you know, you can get things wrong even when you're not trying. So, pour ink. This is not the black, and I'll actually show you the black in a minute. This is Japanese ink. And I have the black one and I have the vermilion one. This is all you really need to make a Zen Chicken. although I have obviously lots of other stuff. So these are Sumi brushes. So these are Japanese calligraphy brushes. And I have a very beautiful one that's very large. I'm not going to use this one right now because it's too large for this size paper. But isn't that, it's carved, and this gets really soft. It's horsehair. I don't know what happened to the horse, if the horse drew the hair back. So I'm going to put this in water, dry it off, and then absorb it with ink. And this is where the Tai Chi comes in. I don't, at least I start to breathe. So I'm going to watch this thing drip for a minute. I may dip it a couple of times. The ink absorbs into the horsehair. It will take a lot of ink in there. And then I'm just going to relax. And sometimes I don't, like now, I'm not going to look at the paper. I'm just going to go. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you, and I'm making Zen Chicken based on what I feel of you. All right, there it is. So once I have that, I think it needs legs. So I put the legs wherever I want it. And so there is basically a Zen Chicken. If I want to make a head, the first thing I do is I make the comb. Sometimes I use the same size brush. This is the same size brush. This is vermilion ink. And vermilion is the only other color that traditional Oriental painting really uses. They use black and ink. So I'm going to make, there's a different. Oh, my stamp pad's over there. You may have seen, and you'll see behind John's head, a realistic eye. So that is a rubber stamp that brings in a little bit of data, and also brings in a little bit of mail art. So here we go. So then I want it clearly labeled. Oh, we have this palm tree. Yeah, let's use the palm tree. Let's have the palm tree coming out of the back of its eye. So there you have. You've got it. That's nice. I'm going to show you something really cool. So this is ball moss. So ball moss can also make a Zen Chicken. So I'm going to actually let this one dry for a minute. We'll put some more stuff on it later. And get a new piece of paper. Oh, where's this paper is open? All right, so we're going to put ball moss in the ink. Maybe we're not. Maybe we're going to bring the ink to the ball moss. Same thing. You ready? Is everybody ready? All right. Then chicken. Same thing. Give it some feet. And it's going to come right at us. Now then I look at it and I say, well, where's the head? I don't know yet. It hasn't told me. There's the head. Look at that. It just showed up. Let's put some more tail on it. All right, so there you have it. It needs a comb. So if I had only 4 of those, that would be bad luck in China, but there's not. There's an odd number. Then I can put an eye in there. I could paint it white and then let it dry and put, that's the Zen Chicken. Now I'm going to sign it. Now I'll show you where this chicken is now very cheap, and I'm going to make it very expensive with my magic signature. All right, this one is done. I think it's done. So I'm going to get a little finger paint. I'm going to go like that. When that dries, I am going to add my signature. And that, my friends, is how you make, oh, wait a minute, a Zen Chicken.
Yeah, I want to see you sign it.
I did, well, I can't sign it until this dries.
Ah, got it, got it.
So now we can talk. So that was my tour and my demo, ending with my signature. And so if you want to chat, we can chat, or I think that would be a good thing to do. I didn't sign this one, but I'll just start my signature there. That's kind of cute. He looks young, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He
Looks like Felix the cat. Felix the cat chicken.
Yeah. They all develop their own personalities, and the spontaneous creation of these things is, it always creates something unexpected, which is why I have so many of them.
How many of these have you made?
I was trying to figure it out. I've been making them every day. Oh, you figured it out. You probably have a computer over there. So I'm making them every day since 2017.
Okay.
So that's 365 a year.
For 3 years.
How many?
That would be 1,095.
Well, that's exactly how many I've made, John. Exactly.
Have you offered all of them on Saatchi or elsewhere? Or
No,
do you hold some back?
It takes forever to process them. Like that whole box is full of ones to scan, or, you know, and you scan them, and Saatchi has these requirements that in order, because they sell prints of them. Like you could get a print of these for $40 on Saatchi.
Oh.
And but it's a lot of processing, which is, it's not as much fun to put things online as it is to paint, right?
Exactly. Well, it's interesting to see into your process, though. I've always been fascinated by your versatility, I guess. You've had so many projects over the years that I've known you. Do you still do mail art?
Yeah, you want to see some mail art?
Yeah, sure. That would be
I want
great.
to show you something so beautiful that I got in the mail.
And I should say, we discussed mail art in the Plutopia interview that we had recently with Honoria, which is on the site. Wow.
So these
That's
are artist
amazing.
stamps, a memorial artist stamp that I just received this week from a mail artist who lives in Phoenix, Arizona. He makes lots of artist stamps. So an artist stamp is, and these are perforated. They're perforated like real stamps. So if I fold it, it's going to fold along that perforation.
Yeah, to be clear, they're not real postage, right?
Well, they're as real as you want them to be. They're pretty
I mean,
real.
they don't represent payment for postage.
No, they don't have any text on them. They're just a silent memorial stamp. And what's beautiful about this is if the postal system decides that they will cancel it and count it, they will. So that's what mail artists have learned over the years. I've been making a lot of of mail art. I'm going to show you some others that I just got today from Anna Banana. So Anna Banana is a very famous mail artist, and she makes artist stamps as well. So these are that's her letter, and she enclosed all these artist stamps. So this is 80 years of fooling around with Anna Banana. That is another commemorative postage, but it's, you know, it's a celebration rather than so that's celebrating her 80th birthday with artist stamps.
Oh, wow.
And artist stamps are just one aspect of mail art. There are many other aspects, but I thought you'd like to see these.
So when a mail artist creates their, I guess you say, package, the stuff that they're going to send, and they send it out to other artists or to whoever they send it to,
right?
Is each package different, or do they sort of replicate?
I'm sorry, I missed you. Faded out.
Oh, I was just wondering if every person who receives, like when Anna Banana sent that package of mail art to you, and, you know, presumably to other people, did everybody get the same package? Do you just replicate, or do you just
no, it doesn't. It's not like fine art printing where it's really important to make exactly the same thing every time and make an addition that you sign and number. Mail art's kind of like you described this, you know, this whatever it is, webcast, that it's unique for each event, you know. And so they say that the envelope is the museum. So if the envelope is the museum, whatever you get inside of it is like a trip to a museum.
And what do you do with your mail art when you receive it?
I it. So I am a make and receive.
Wait, you faded out.
We seem to have lost you. Are you on a Wi-Fi system? Sometimes those fade out when you're using video.
I suspect that's true. I turned my video off to see if that would help. Oh. I think that she's left and is coming back.
Okay.
There we go. I see an empty. Oh, maybe that's Black 2.0, that box.
I didn't know they had an account. There we go.
There she is. She's back.
Okay.
We lost you for a minute.
Yeah, I noticed. My Canute noticed. So this is more mail art. This is one of the oldest projects. This comes from Japan, and this is by Ryosuke Koen. I've printed on oh, that's not his. So I'm going to open this. This is an envelope opening, even though I've opened it before. But for you guys who've never opened mail art, this is how you do it. You open the flap, and you look inside, and you go, I wonder what that is. Take it out, and you unfold it. So in this case, so you saw my beautiful stamps. This case is a collage of everything, everything that Ryosuke Koen received in the last 10 days is printed on here. And this is a special Japanese little, it's kind of a child's toy, they say, this printing thing that does the multicolor print. So he makes this. This is number 976. he sends, everyone here is listed on here. So all the artists have a name on this list with their address.
That's a lot.
I know.
Seems
It
like
is a lot.
he's created a male art gallery.
Exactly. And so it becomes very, even though it seems like it's impersonal, it becomes very personal because you can send mail art to any of these addresses and you never know what's going to happen. So I decided this was actually the first mail art I ever received was one of these much earlier, in the 200s, I think it was. So I picked a country. I picked two countries, Japan and Italy, and I just sent, some drawings or something to everybody from Italy and everyone from Japan. I'm going to see what happens. And so what I did was I became a mail artist, and I've never looked back because it's very rewarding and fun, and you just never. It's mysterious. So I recommend everybody become a mail artist. What I do now is I let the mail sit outside to decontaminate it a couple of days because the virus doesn't survive on paper very long. So at least that's what they say. So I just have this other lag. You already have lag with the postal system, and this is just an extra lag.
This is yet another reason to sustain our post office, our postal service.
God. Well, they would
the
privatize it, right? That's what they would do.
I made the mistake of doing something with our mail that came in when the first virus cropped up, and I microwaved some mail that came in an old microwave at low speed, and set some of my wife's birthday cards on fire. So we won't be doing that anymore in this household or any household for that fact.
That's great. Lessons learned. I never knew that microwaving mail would be.
Learn from experimentation.
It turns out to be not a good thing.
Definitely not.
I wouldn't do it. Let's see. Any other questions about mail?
Actually, the best thing to do in the era of COVID is to wash your mail in soap and water.
No, you just leave it sitting outside.
Yeah, I know. I'm kidding.
Okay. So this is something, another kind of mail art is called add and pass. So a whole bunch of different artists have added. So can you see what I've added? I added my signature along with these rubber stamps. And this is a sticker I made.
Wow.
So now I'm going to send this to the next person I send mail art to. So here's the other side of it. And it's just a piece of paper that people just started adding to. And it's called From the Desk of Ed, whoever Ed is. And it started on February 11th, 2019.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever kudos are, I want to send kudos to Knut, who is doing such a great job as your cameraman.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Take a bow. Take a bow.
You want to see a picture of Canute? I'll turn it.
Yeah, there you go. There he is. Hello.
I always believe in crediting the technical folk.
Right on. It's great to have a camera crew. It's even better to be married to a camera crew.
Yeah, it's very nice. And he also served me some wine, which I didn't realize we had.
Ooh, my crew doesn't even do that. My camera crew is kind of this metal tripod thingy, so it doesn't do much of anything.
You need a lot.
That's my art. That's my studio tour. Are there any other questions?
Well, I'm trying to think what we didn't get to talk about when we had the interview. And the one thing I can think of, which...
We talked a lot about teaching.
Well, I was thinking about the opera. We haven't talked about the opera in a long time, actually. Is anything happening with the opera now?
something's always happening with the opera. But right now it's kind of dormant. But then I always think that, and then somebody pops up and talks about it. And it's sitting there. It needs a dramaturge. So if you are a dramaturge, then come on down. But
well, I had offered to work on the libretto at one time, but we kind of never got to it. And we should mention what we're talking about is the Honoria in Ciberspazio, which is an opera that Honoria collaboratively worked on with a bunch of people, starting in what, 1994 or 5 or something?
94, because it went live in 95. It was the first opera ever broadcast on the internet, the #1.
And I remember seeing it, parts of it performed live at South by Southwest.
Yeah, several times.
Yeah.
We snuck into the trade show and performed it one time. And then the other time we were invited guests to perform it for the opening party.
Opening party, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm thinking about. That was quite impressive.
Yeah, it was great.
Have you been able to work the Zen Chickens into the opera, or is that a work in progress?
I would like to say that the chickens and the opera are never going to meet. But I will say this, that the opera's libretto was based on mail art sort of traditions. You know, the way the collection of the material was based on what I knew about mail art.
Well, that and the internet, right? Was it influenced by Larry
Yeah,
L?
that was that and a bunch of moos that I was hanging out in.
Was there a Larry L influence? Or were you part of that? Oh, there was an email list called Larry L.
No, it wasn't Leary. It was, I mean, I met the Leary people, the Larry L people. I still know some.
Well, yeah, we have one in Austin.
Yeah, we do.
In Austin. I mean, I was one.
Hi, Heath, if you're there. Well, he's in the opera.
Yeah.
I remember. Rez, because he's a writer, and writers, writers are big in the opera because it's only a libretto. And then George Olje, he made such beautiful music for it. So if someone wants to give me $100,000, I'll give it to George and he'll write the rest of the opera.
Well, we should definitely start a Kickstarter for that. We should crowdsource that money.
But it needs a dramaturge to work with George. I know that. I learned that part. But right now, the Zen Chickens are more what I do. Like the opera is in a resting state, and the Zen Chickens are busy. They're super busy, and they are keeping the creative spirit going, and they are an important way for me to reach to my students because I want them to be less worried about what the aesthetics are going into a project and more about what the aesthetics bubble out of a project. So, the students who especially came from the digital world, they are very much about the finished product. Like their vision of what they want to create starts with the finished product. But I'm trying to get them to back up and be looser and more experimental as they start any kind of visual storytelling. And that's what these chickens are about, because they start to build their own unique character. As you saw, I mean, I've made 2 of them, and they're completely, one's young and one is, I don't know, how old is this chicken? How old do you think this chicken is? This one's kind of young too. They're both young. And they're young because of their proportions. Like these are big feet for this size of a chicken. And so you can just kind of see, and I didn't plan this at all. In fact, I had my eyes closed. And so these characters that come out of spontaneous creativity can really change the way you think of your own potential. And that's really what I want my message to be, that your potential is resting inside of whatever piece of junk you throw on a piece of paper or in your camera or musically or audio. All of it starts with a spontaneous creativity. If you worry about it too much, you're going to stop yourself from exploring a really important part of yourself.
Yeah, I realize that part of your pedagogy there is about patience, just teaching patience, the patience that it takes to, I mean, it's good to have the end in mind, but the means is very important. And I mean, this was always my problem. I always kind of knew what I wanted to produce, but I didn't have the patience to take the time to do the hard work of getting it produced, you know? And I didn't even realize it. It didn't really strike me what I was doing to myself, you know, that I was not letting myself make whatever art or piece of writing. And in my case, it was mostly writing.
Well, you made a statement recently on Facebook or somewhere about the first draft. So you didn't really, you used to think that the first draft was, you did it and it was done. But
Right.
the editing is where the actual writing is.
If that was the case, the paper industry would have gone under.
Hey, there's a question on Facebook from Denise Rogers who says, for those of us with no artistic talent, how do you work with the USPS to mail the art without defacing the envelope?
Oh, the
That's
envelope.
Getting back to mail art.
The envelope's defaced. And I don't care if my Zen chickens get messed up in the mail. It's
like wabi sabi, huh?
Yeah, it's part of the
art.
It's part of the aesthetic of mail art to have the postage stamped and to have it wrinkled and go through the rain and the sleet and the snow, whatever the postman goes through.
It's found art courtesy of the Postal Service, so they have their own little contribution to mail art.
They do. You're right.
Well, you talk
So
about.
do you want to see me sign this? Because it's dry now. I could sign it.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Well, you know, Honoria, you talk about introducing your students to the Zen Chickens. What is their initial reaction? You know, new students that don't know Zen Chickens. Have you had unusual responses to your introduction?
Well, it's interesting you should ask, because I don't just throw a bunch of Zen chickens at them like I did. You asked me to throw a bunch of Zen chickens at you, but my students don't. They don't know. They think of me as some kind of authority figure. And so what I try and connect to them with is to say that I'm modeling something that I want them to learn from. And so what I'm modeling is not Zen chickens. I'm modeling a process where you start with something that's exploratory. So there's something called experiential learning. So what they do is flash a Zen chicken into a PowerPoint about something else, you know, some other kind of content. So every once in a while, Zen chicken will just flash on there and go by, and I won't even talk it. And then eventually someone's going to ask me, what was that? I said, oh, that's a Zen chicken, and I don't talk about it. And so eventually they wonder what the heck those things are. And eventually I let them know. All right, I'm ready to sign the Zen chicken. Okay. So this is a white pin from Japan.
Oh, no. There she is.
So that's the final step in my process. Except for then, if I'm going to put it on Sachi, I have to scan it and do all this other stuff to it.
We actually kind of missed it. I think that there was a burp in the internet. We lost our connectivity for a minute or something.
A network interruption. It was to contribute to the project.
But it's like what you say. I mean, that's sort of like the what happens when you send something through the postal service, and this is what happens when you try to have a conversation on the internet. You learn to just kind of live with all the blips.
Right, and I can't do it again because I don't have any more dry vermilion.
Oh, that's okay. We'll do it next time.
But this is what it looks like, H in white. Well, thank you for visiting my studio. I really appreciate it.
Oh, this is excellent.
Well, you know, are you near a screen? You inspired me, so I had to make my own attempt at a Zen Chicken. So
All right.
Here we go.
All right.
That is
awesome.
Toulouse
Awesome.
Leclerc. And I just wanted to ensure that you understand that you have no competition in the Zen Chicken arena.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Nobody wants to do Zen chickens.
No, we just don't have the talent.
Well, you do. If you were my student, you would be making something that you would be proud of, because that's what I do.
Yeah, it's sort of like everybody is Buddha and everybody has the talent.
Right.
And
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah.
The smart ones choose the proper arena. That's what I do. I stay away from anything involving manual dexterity.
Well, aesthetics are aesthetics. It's there's many ways to express something that's really true to who you are. And to me, it's in chickens right now, but it wasn't always.
But I appreciate your explaining the futility of relying on the first draft or the first attempt, because that's kind of my approach when I am stuck of what I want to do. I'll just come in here and turn on stuff and put a microphone up and get some sound clips and just play. And I found that play is the great teacher, because it teaches you to loosen up, and pretty quickly I'll have an idea that comes from playing around. I go, oh, I need to do that. And then I have a way to go. But if you just sit there and try to think, what can I do? What can I, you're not going to do anything except sit there and look dumb.
Well, I'll just remind you that one of our absolute best Plutopia events, the theme of it was the future of play. And this thing that you see here, this little icon, is actually a play button icon that we created for that event. And we were thinking of it was sort of a pun, you know. When you talk about play, you could talk about playing something like you play a record, but you can also talk about playing like you play ball or go out and play. I mean, play has different meanings, and in a perfect universe, they all sort of coalesce.
I remember that Plutopia thing. I ended up in a theremin doing Tai Chi.
It was an absolutely great and fun event to do.
It's beautiful.
So we have 6 minutes.
Oh, we do.
So what can you create in 6 minutes?
I can show you one other technique, which is stenciling, because I've done Zen chickens with stencils as well. Okay. So you put this one away, and I'll show you, because a lot of when I just love dancing or playing with art supplies. So I'm just going to grab this sketchbook over here, and I'm going to grab a really stiff brush. This one looks pretty stiff. And I'm going to go over here where I have some stencils. And I have some words on here that I'm going to show you. I'll come back over here. Look at, I have some of this ink. Oh, I was going to show you also what the black 3.0 looks like. So I'll just pour it on here. Boom. There, squirt, black 3.0 right there. Oh, it's not, I didn't shake it first. There it is. That's black 3.0. Oh, look.
Oh, nice.
Now we are going to make a stencil of my favorite leaf. Do you have a favorite leaf, you guys?
I like maple leaves.
Okay, this is
I like Leaf It to Beaver. No, I was a TV.
this is a ginkgo leaf. Ginkgo is one of the
Oh,
oldest
nice.
trees on the planet. All right. So I'm going to make this Zen Chicken is now going to have a ginkgo leaf comb. So here we go. I'm going to make it kind of blotty like that. So this is stenciling. This is what Banksy does. Boom.
Wow,
That's nice.
that is nice.
And this is a statement today that says the art department is leaking energy. That was from, I'll put my, there we go. So when that dries, I can do a signature. Well, you see, what 6 minutes is to someone who does Zen Chickens is a lot of time.
Yeah, I see.
I mean, that is, you know, I can make a lot of Zen Chickens. And I do make a lot of Zen Chickens. I love to make Zen Chickens. So let's add another leaf. So you just let them talk to you and they say, I want another leaf. And now I want a third leaf because I want an uneven number. Boom.
Fantastic.
All right, that Zen Chicken is going to town. Now you notice, just want you to notice that this is an older chicken because it's got different proportions. It's a more mature chicken. It's probably a teenage chicken.
That is fabulous.
I like your leaves. I live in a forest out in Bastrop County, surrounded by many, many oak trees. And this time of year, I just love the leaves. Unfortunately, when winter comes along and they're brown and laying on the ground, I'm less of a leaf fan. So leaves have their season, but I like yours.
Thank you. Yeah, these don't have to be raked, but they do have to be washed. So I have to wash off all this paint.
We're down to the 1 minute mark.
All right, so what I would like to say is thank you very much for
Thank you.
visiting me and my Zen Chicken in my studio. If you want to see more of my art, it's on Saatchi Art, Honoria Starbuck, and it's also on honoriastarbuck.com.
Fantastic. And I would like to thank all of our sponsors, but we don't have any. So if anybody wants to give us some money, we'd welcome it. You know, send money.
Yeah, they can send money as long as they don't demand artistic control. That's when things go sideways when you have money.
Oh, we don't even have artistic control.
Well,
okay.
You guys do a great job.
Thank you, Honoria. It was
Thank you. This was great. We will see you soon. Off in Plutopia land.
Cluck, cluck.
Off we go.